All right. One of the great coaches of all time, Dennis Pagan, took the North Melbourne Footy Club to 7 straight prelim finals, 3 grand finals, a very strong man.
And he was just a great,
media hater.
But at the same time, provided plenty for them, didn't he?
He did.
Because he was great with the quotes and the one-liners and, the sayings. He was absolutely fantastic.
And still got enormous charisma to this day.
There's
Hasn't he,
no
Dennis?
doubt about that.
It's amazing.
One of the very funny men. Doesn't try to be funny,
Yes.
just naturally funny.
Yep.
So I'll start off, given that I'm in the media and we're talking about media.
Can you put it in like you're him?
Right now, he'd be saying,
Yeah.
I tell you what, son, you're not going down Media Street, are you? So that's an obvious one.
Yeah,
and then if I was sort of lacking a little bit of confidence, Brownie, which he
Never
didn't say
happened.
this to me too often, but he'd say to guys, hey, son, do you think you just go down to Puckle Street and just grab a jar of confidence? And then he'd say to players that he thought were lying to him about anything in particular, their form or what they got up to off the ground, he'd say, "You're not pissing down my back, son, and telling me it's raining, are you?" And then he said this one specifically to, we're talking to John Longmire later, to his assistant coach, John Blakey. He said, Blakes was just sort of playing nice footy. He said, "John, you're a beautiful man. You're a lovely kid. You're gorgeous. You're the sort of bloke I'd love to marry my daughter. But are you going to do something?" The 1 metre test, he'd say, "Son, you might have the Southern Aurora coming that way, the Overlander coming that way, but are you going to go and get the footy, son? You're going to the 1 metre test." Kingy,
What's the 1 metre test? Is it like
get the footy?
close?
Yeah, 1 metre. So state of origin. Players would play state of origin and then sort of come back and sort of be strolling.
Against the club sort of...
strolling around. And Dennis didn't like state of origin too much. So he'd go, "I tell you what, son, since you've come back from state of origin, you've got a size 10 hat, but a size 14 head." And then he loved this one when people he'd hear players sort of having a little bit of a go at one another. He'd say, "You know what, son? You argue with fools, and soon people can't tell the difference." He loved that one.
I get the feeling Duck's enjoying his own.
Footy doesn't build character; it just eliminates the weak ones. And this is one of my all-time favourites. He's talking about, I remember we're all sitting there. I remember this one specifically. So this is my absolute favourite. When and Anthony Rock's sitting in front of me and Sholey's there and Croc's there. And he's gone, "Courage. There's 3 types of courage. There's expected courage. When, peer group pressure, you're just expected to go. So you do it." Said, "Then there's Dutch courage when you're affected by alcohol or drugs." And we're going, "That's you, Rocky." And then he goes, "Then there's resolved courage, when you know the consequences, but you still follow through with the act. What sort of courage do you guys want?" We all sort of look at Rocky and go, "Well, we know Rocky's got a lot of Dutch. He hasn't got much of the other." Is that 10? I think that's 10.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done.
Just, because you were the king. So did you waltz around in there? How did you handle the locker room situation? Because you would have strutted.
He had a great ability to bring me down by embarrassing me.
Did he?
In front of the group,
right.
in the manner of he'd grab Mick Martin and say, "Mick, you can't go out like the champ. You can't go out like the champ and still perform, son. You've got to be doing everything right." And then the day where he called all the team leaders into the one room and said, "Your form, you're up and down like a yo-yo. You're no good, Rocky, blah, blah, blah." And then he said, "There's only one bloke in here that can go out and still perform. We know who that is." He goes, "So all the rest of you just can't." So we walk out and the boys just gave it to me. Steve, call me Steve Seagal, above the law, all of this sort of stuff. So he had a great ability to do that, to embarrass me. So therefore...
Did he ever have to call upon you? Can you remember in a game where perhaps you weren't playing well or the team wasn't playing well, and can you ever remember him absolutely putting it on the line to you, saying that we need you now more than ever. Did that ever happen?
Yeah, it did. But he could do that with a look. I reckon the one that stands out for me, and it's sort of got a little bit of a funny ending. We were playing Fremantle, and we were near the top of the ladder. They were near the bottom of the ladder. And the start of the '98 season, I started the year off at centre half back. He had this thing, right? We're going to play you centre half back now. That build on defence and all this sort of stuff. So we were down at half time against Freo, and down by a bit. And he said, "Listen, son, we're going to put you back to centre half forward." I kicked 7 in the second half, and he came up to me after the game and he grabbed me,
Yeah.
said, "If I ever play you at centre half back again, punch me fair in the mouth."
Hey, Duck, another one was that '93 season. It was a Friday night game against Essendon, and you were down 4 or 5 goals at three-quarter time, and he quoted some war general of some note.
Yeah. He just had this. I always stood at the back of the huddle. I never stood anywhere near the front because he used to get a bit of spray when he when he got angry, and you didn't want to be at the front because you're right in his eye line. But I'd stand at the back, and he would search for you. If he wanted you to lift, he would just search for you, look at you, and just sort of give you the nod, and you knew what he wanted to do. And he was so much like a father figure. When you're a kid, you want to impress your dad. That's exactly the effect that he had on the group. You just wanted to perform for him.
That State of Origin, blokes coming back from State of Origin footy, that would have been 100% aimed at Craig Scholl, otherwise known as the Doctor, who made his debut for Victoria in one of those Tuesday night games against South Australia at Football Park. First kick for Victoria, attempted an on-the-run barrel that went 15 rows into the crowd. And he copped, because we're all great mates of the Doctor, he copped it from every single one of us. Stick to what you can do.
Up at Bright these days running a caravan park.
He is, and mind you, did finish his career with 7 goals in a preliminary final, Craig.
And has let us all know about it ever since.
He was a very good player.
Well, it's probably just as important to start your career with 7.
Oh, hello.
No, I didn't. No,
6?
I can't remember now.
Oh, yes, you can, Brisbane.
No, I got belted.